non-fungible.
So you trying to say, all right, so you trying to say that you trying to get a cipher with me, you, Johnny, and Non-Fungible Wonderful. That's what you
Let's go.
That's right.
Let's
Yo,
go. Shout out
let's
to
go.
Non-Fungible.
Yo, Non-Fungible Wonderful is in the chat right now. He's in the building.
Let's go, Pineapple
in the
Gang. Yo,
building.
wait till you guys hear his album. Wait till you guys hear his album. It's you guys are gonna. It's honestly like I listen to it all the time. Obviously, I listen to the songs that I'm on too, but like the whole album is when you listen to the intro, you're gonna be in the VV-verse. Like it's unbelievable.
Ooh, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I saw him rhyming with the postman, doing all types of crazy.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. My brother's an actual postman too. Like he's actual letter carrier, I guess the technical word is. But yeah, he's a mailman. So I showed him the song too. He was loving it. He was like, "What?"
I was dying. I was like, "Yeah, man, yo, Non-Fungible Wonderful in the building. What up, man? You know, I gotta lock you in. We try to lock in an interview, but we had some stuff come up. But we're gonna lock him in soon. Wendy STIBALIS, she's also in the building. What's up,
Wendy?
What's
got
up,
the team VO and let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. So everybody in the chat, please drop a like. I've got if for whatever reason you're not subbed to Johnny Dunn, please, the link is pinned in the description, in the chat, should I say. So this is crazy, you know, multi-talented Johnny Dunn is what we should call him now. And so, all right, so talk to me. Obviously we saw the cards, okay? We know you're like a golf prodigy and whatnot. So there we go. There we go. Got another physical collectible coming at you.
I have the Todd. And I have one more actually coming. I'm going to give a shout out to Dan Schauble too, because there's a comic book that like I don't have many comic books, right? I was never really a physical collector of anything. Really, I got that Todd McFarlane Batman only just because of Veve. In the early days, I wanted to get one physical like representation just to kind of remind me of just Veve, and that was the Todd McFarlane Batman right there. And when that came in, I got addicted to the physical collectibles. I have an addicting personality. Like I've become obsessive with things I love. It's a blessing and a curse, but you know, I feel like some of the greatest people in the world have that same blessing, and it's a blessing and a curse. Really, you can dive all the way into things, but you got to make sure it's the right things.
Right.
No, yeah, you're right. You're
so
right.
The physical. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
So, well, I was gonna go into a question, and then I said, "Oh, you know, let's see a physical."
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So all right, so that was the Todd. That was the Todd. So okay, so what was the first physical collectible you owned as a kid, if you remember?
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually a good question. It might have been either a Batman figurine. I should have brought him out for this little live stream. Dang, I should have brought him out. All right, so it could have been either like Batman figurines, or also it probably was this before them. Like those Hot Wheel Matchbox cars and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So I still have a ton of those, but they're not in good condition. I think they're actually worth a good amount if you have them in like great condition, but they're not in good condition. They're all messed up. I used to play with them all the time.
No,
I love that kind of stuff. Probably Legos too. I was a huge Lego person.
Yeah.
Just like making stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, so Legos. You had Legos, and you had the first though. You said
I would say Matchbox cars, like those Hot Wheel cars, like the little tiny ones, or it could have been Batman figurines because I have a whole not like statues though, but like little like toy Batman things, and that's why when I saw Veve in the Batman, I was like, oh my gosh,
you're like locked up.
Yeah, like instantly.
It was a wrap. So, all right. So speaking about, you mentioned Batman and whatnot. So when you were growing up, what kind of cartoons did you like?
Oh, okay. So I'm a 90s baby. I was born in 93. Probably a little younger, you guys said, right? I'm a little younger than you guys. Born in 93. A lot of cartoons that I liked. This is one I was watching Veve and Wendy mentioned some. One was for me, Hey Arnold. I don't know if anyone in the chat listened to Hey Arnold, or watched Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold was one of my favorites. I really liked Hey Arnold. Power Rangers was one too. I watched Power Rangers. I don't know if you would call the Simpsons cartoons. Would you call Simpsons cartoons?
Yeah, you know
Actually,
what?
I was debating on if we're calling the Power Rangers cartoons.
Oh yeah, it's more like movies, right? Like,
Oh yeah, that's like a show.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? I was just watching
Rocket Power. Did you
Right,
just say
right,
Rocket
okay.
Power? I'm not sure if you just said Rocket Power, but whatever you just said reminded me of Rocket Power. Rocket Power is a huge one. I used to watch Rocket Power big time.
I just seen a thing, a special on the first Black Power Ranger today. It was like an update on him and stuff, and he was talking about how like now the Power Rangers is blowing up again. He's been doing like nonstop Comic Cons and this, that, and the third. He was saying how like Saban, that company that put that out, like they never got residual checks, and that's like the lifeblood of actors is the residuals usually, And he was like, it took years for him to actually get paid, you know what I'm saying? But it came from him having to do other stuff. And that was predicated on us making it relevant again, you know what I'm saying? But he was like a highly beloved Ranger. I guess, he was first Black Ranger, literally Black Ranger. But, he was saying like he goes to like Thailand and Philippines, and he's like, people will come up to him and talk to him. He don't know what they're saying, but he knows that they know him and they like him. He's like, yeah, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? That shit was cool,
Dude, I don't know if you guys heard about one of the Power Rangers. He killed his roommate.
Yeah. Remember that? Yes.
I did not know that.
I think it was one of the red ones. I think it was one of the Red Rangers.
Yeah, he killed him, man. They got into an argument, and and he killed him with a sword.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. They're crazy. So
take his job too. That's when you taking your job home with you too much.
Yeah, for real.
For real, man. He didn't hear cut. Like, what's the deal, bro?
You're stupid.
Man, okay.
Blanking out on some other cartoons though. I watched a fair amount of cartoons though.
Yeah.
What else you got? What else you thinking?
I was a 90s baby, so I felt like that. I grew up watching cartoons like after elementary school and stuff like that.
Right.
What was your favorite? Like your number one?
Hey Arnold for sure. Hey Arnold was one of my favorites.
Okay,
you know why? Because I used to love his like room. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Hey Arnold and the chat, but it was like this like attic like.
Yep.
It was just cool. I always wanted something like that.
It was dope, though. I can't front. And I was hella old when that came out. I ain't gonna tell you how old you was born.
I know.
I still saw that. Man, I'll just say I was dealing with some females and they had babies at the time.
Oh. By the way, George Omega in the chat says it was the Red Ranger.
Yeah, I told you.
Wow.
Yeah, the Red Ranger. I knew that he was
football head himself, Arnold.
That was one of my favorites, man.
All right, so what about video games, man? What video games did you play?
Oh, video games was a big one, man. All right, so later on, I feel like in high school, I got addicted to like Madden on Madden. I used to play Madden online a lot. I got addicted to that for sure, man. I mean, that was a big one. I love Madden. But like going back further days, so growing up, I mean, I could play this game forever to this day still. N64, James Bond, 007 GoldenEye, Mario Kart. Those are like my favorite two games right there. I could play that like, oh my gosh, so many memories. Even in high school, I played that with my friends, man. Those games, even Mario Party was a great one. I used to play with my cousins all the time.
About Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's one I just said, Mario Kart and James Bond.
Mario Kart, yeah.
So those two, the Mario Kart, my favorite level, I even know the levels, like the beach level, Mario Kart N64, the little shortcut. I get that every time to this day.
Yo, that's hilarious, man.
I
love the N64.
Yeah, that was dope, man.
I mean, yeah, it was dope, man.
How about you guys? What are some of your favorites?
Game they came out with? It was like Star Fox or Firefox. It was some game. It was like
a N64?
Yeah. It was like a fox, and he was like in space. It was like a spaceship.
Yeah, I mean that's Star Fox, but I still that. There
you go.
Yeah, you know what? It was N64. It was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
that was there because every system had like the game that you can't get nowhere else, and that was their game.
Exclusive game. Wow.
Yeah, that was dope. I personally, I mean, back then, I would have to say, I mean, like when I was a kid, Zelda.
Okay.
Zelda, man.
That was a popular one.
Oh,
bro.
my.
When you held the cartridge, it was special. It was a gold cartridge, and it was heavy because they put a memory chip in there.
They had a memory chip in it. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean,
those things lasted forever too.
Yeah, man. Oh man, Good
Super
time.
Super Nintendo was another one of my favorites. Super Nintendo, NBA Jam or College Slam, I think it's called. I forget what the exact name was. I used to play that.
You had a combo of those. You had Double Dribble. You had NBA Jam. You had
NBA Jam. That I think that was it right there.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, is it the shoes? That was the joint.
Fast Eddie P's in the chat. What's up, brother? What's up, Cameron? What up? Look, everybody in the chat, please drop a like. And if for whatever reason you're not subbed to Johnny Dunn, a link to his YouTube channel is pinned in the chat. So we're talking, history. We're finding out he's like a golf prodigy and whatnot.
Another thing, real quick,
yeah.
Off the video games, I start playing. So like I would say like N64 growing up, high school, like Madden, PlayStation 2 was my thing. Big PlayStation 2 fan. That was like one of my favorite consoles. And then recently, I would say last couple of years, I got into I had a PlayStation 4. I was playing this golf game, PGA Tour, whatever the latest 2K game was, and I played it only really just to create golf courses. I was creating all these golf courses from scratch and then also recreating hometown golf courses. And so I realized I was actually incredible. It's almost like Roller Coaster Tycoon. You know how you could create your own like theme park? Well, you could create your own golf course from scratch. And to me, I guess digging in my like creative bag, I absolutely loved it. And I was showing, so like I was pretty close to the people who own the Pittman Golf Course, the golf course in my town. And I recreated just from memory every single golf hole. And so then I put Pittman Golf Course in the video game. And so I showed them and like they were absolutely blown away because now their golf course is in the video game forever. And so that got publicity. And then I was doing it for other golf courses like River Winds. Ron Jaworski, who's like a football player, he owns this golf course called River Winds. And it was one of my favorite golf courses. And then I recreated that one in the video game, showed them, and they were like blown away, got publicity. It was just cool to like, for me, my creative side, I love just creating all these courses from scratch and also replicating the ones I played in real life. So that was something I did recently.
That's super dope. And the fact, so other people can just go in and play it.
Yep. And it's always going to be there. Like, so I felt like my vision was I was going to go around to all these other golf courses that aren't in the game, but like local, and be like, yo, like to almost charge money to recreate their golf course to put it in the course. I never went through with that. I kind of just did it out of the love for the couple courses that I love playing, but that was kind of my idea I was going to go for, but I never actually.
No, I mean, shoot, that's super dope. Maybe in veveverse or meta, whatever.
Ooh, telling you.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. That's
Bro,
oh my gosh.
You might be giving golf lessons in the metaverse, brother.
Yo, for real.
Wow, that's gonna happen.
Bro, for real.
Wow.
You know,
I never even really thought about that. That's amazing.
I put you on the right path. You know what I'm saying? Stick with your boy. I got you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, seriously, what you guys just said. I mean, you guys know me. I'm thinking about the veveverse like constantly, right?
Yeah.
But I never really thought of bringing the golf courses in the veveverse, giving golf lessons in the VV. I never really put that part in there.
Man, because yeah, it's all virtual, right? You could be there one-on-one, and you could have, all right, what course you want? I got a slew. What's up?
Baseball and golf lessons.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Let's
for all we know, the future we're moving into, we may not even be allowed to be on courses for a while. We just don't know. So virtual, you know, if it literally looks and feels like I'm out there, I mean, hey.
And they already have something similar like that. They already have golf simulators already. It's just, it's like 2D, you know. Once you put that on, it's game changing.
Oh, it is.
Bro, they have some where it looks, it's literally like, it's like you, when you go on the virtual tour, they basically like just keep recording, re-recording, and then they feed it into a system where the AI just knows when you look, it just renders these images so fast that it just looks live. It just looks like you're there 360. So
it's crazy, man. That's one next thing I want to get. I want to get an Oculus soon, just to.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I need to get one. Everyone's in the VR chat and everything together. I got to get with the Veve fam in there, man.
Oh man,
yo, I just got one, bro. That thing is ridiculous. You put that on the first time, and you're like, yo. It made me, I was already a believer, but when I put that thing on and I started seeing with the community and all that, I was like, oh, forget it. I got the same feeling when I jumped on the internet for the first time. I mean, I know I sound like really old, but it was AOL chat room. I know.
No, right. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and I went in there and I'm like, oh, these are real people typing.
Right.
You know, and I had that same feeling. I'm like, these are real people walking around.
You're right. It's hard to understand until you actually get in there. That's also why I want to get it, because I want to show my grandma. She gets it, but like, you know, like you said, like when she puts it on, she's gonna be like, "Whoa, I really get it now." And same with my mom. I haven't really talked about that yet, but without the support of my family, like I've been blessed. I've had the support from my family, my grandma. If I didn't, I wouldn't have had the collection I do right now. I really wouldn't. So it took both parties, the combination. My trust, my belief, the research. They trusted my belief in Veve, and so my grandma like sees it now. She's like, "Oh my gosh!" So it just feels amazing.
So do you have any more cards or physical collectibles close by we can take a look at? Or that was it for the cards? I wasn't sure if you had a few more. I just want to make sure that we get to see what you had.
I have a couple Yu-Gi-Oh cards here. I know I showed the Pokemon cards, the sports cards. These are my two best Yu-Gi-Oh cards here. So I have a Blue Eyes White Dragon. That's a pretty popular one. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh or not, but that's a pretty popular one. It's not in the best condition though, so it's not worth too much. And then this is a first edition Toon Summon Skull, which is a pretty good one too. But it's not in the best condition either, but it's pretty decent, and it's the first edition. So people who are into Yu-Gi-Oh, they know that's two pretty good ones.
So what's the situation with these? Are you gonna sell these?
I'm just gonna hold them at this point. It's actually a blessing that I couldn't sell them in the beginning. I kind of would have been upset because I don't really need to sell them right now, and so it may be nice to have some extra cash right now. But I think at this point, I mean, there's actually, I don't know, there's a few of them, probably like 4 or 5 that I want to get graded, because I know that costs money to get graded and everything. And I think I am going to send 4 or 5 out to get graded. And I think I'm just going to keep them. I'm going to, because what I wanted to shout out Dan Shaw before earlier was, so I didn't have physical collectibles like really before Veve that much. And now that I'm into comic books and everything, he sent me the link to another person's Instagram account that like brokers like comic books and everything. And so I bought my first physical comic book because of Dan basically. And it's coming in a couple days, and I can't wait for it because it's graded and everything. It's a 9.0 comic book. It's a Todd McFarlane first appearance comic book. So like I love it. I can't believe it. So because I'm collecting stuff in the physical world, I will collect. I'm going to keep some of these Pokemon cards, sports cards. Yeah, man. I'm a collector, man, at heart. I really am.
I know, man. I know that pain, man. I know that pain.
Yeah. Because like I need some money too. Like I would love to profit, and I probably will on some of them. Absolutely. Like I would put a lot of that money or all of it probably right back into Omi and Veve. So I mean, it would help out tremendously.
Bro, I'm over here flipping and selling stuff, and the next thing I know, I'm like, "Oh, we got a little profit. What we gonna do?" Oh, Omi.
Right. You can't go wrong, man. I mean, this is the opportunity of a lifetime right now. Like when this is on Coinbase, when this is on Binance, when this is on all these platforms, when you can buy Omi on the Veve app,
game over.
Right.
It's like, game over.
Everybody's going to be buying Omi, and everybody's going to be looking back at these times like, why didn't everybody buy it? But like you got to realize too, we went through the tough times when they're all the FUD. We killed all the FUD. We stood strong through it. There was a lot of times in the summer where the FUD was strong with a lot of people. They weren't sure. Looking back at 2 years from now, we're going to look back at this time and people are going to be like, how didn't everybody just buy it? But, there's a lot of times where.
We know why, because you got to go through Bit4X and you got to go through this, that, and the third.
Right.
And,
the ease of access isn't there yet.
Yeah. I mean, nothing that's worth you getting in early is never really easy to get into. I mean, sometimes, but a lot of the times, like me, I'm it sounds ludicrous, but when I first heard about Bitcoin, it would have cost me a quarter. And I had a friend who had a friend that basically him and his boy, they just got out the army. This is years ago. This is after Desert Storm. And he was stationed in Texas, and he was out there. He met a guy that was also from New York. And I was waiting for him to come back, and I was going to meet the guy that he was friends with. And he was like, "Oh, he stayed in Texas." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "You know how we get like all this money, we go out on these tours." He was like, he just decided to buy a house out there. He was like, a matter of fact, he bought 2. And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, he's using one of them as a mining thing. I'm like, "What are you talking about? This did not make any sense. I'm going to keep it real with you. This is like 2006, 2007, bro. And he was like, yeah, he was like, this thing called Bitcoin, it costs $0.25, but we didn't know how to buy it. There was no way to buy it. Like, we knew the dude mining it, all of that, but could not buy it. You know, like, how could you? Back
There's
then,
no
you could
Coinbase back then. Right.
Man, if you could have just put like a G in that back then when it was $0.25.
Exactly.
Oh,
Rap.
man, bro.
Rap.
And that's the thing. I remember finding it later than that, but it was around $50 at the time. And I remember I was about to say, or not about to say, I was gonna put a couple $100 in, buy a couple, and just forget about it. But it was hard to buy even back then. I didn't know how to buy it. I bet with some research I could have found out, but there was no Coinbase to just hit buy now.
Exactly.
Like
I know. That's, I mean,
and once there is, right, once there is, then it's going to be higher.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Strange and I spoke about this a while ago, and I remember I told him, I was like, man, like the day that that happens, it's on Coinbase, and you can just ban. You're gonna see some gains right there.
But the best part is that's just one of the first catalysts and far from the last.
Yep. And that's the thing. I think we're going to see a lot of people probably sell too early, because like we all know the vision of this company. We know where it's going to be. So like just stake it, earn rewards, and it's going to be here. Like Disney's not going to partner with something that's only here for a couple of years, right? They're all about the legacy. They're about building a brand. They're going to have something that's here for decades. And they chose the Veve app, Dan and David, with their trust, to have their entire IP portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
National Geographic, like people are going to have not just showrooms, museums, people are going to have like zoos, like they're going to have all kinds of things. Like it's going to be,
we got our Jurassic Park coming. So
right. Like,
yo, that's going to be next level, bro. Next level. By the way, in the chat, Fast Eddie P says that the Blue Eyes White Dragon is a great card.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, the Blue Eyes is good. It's not in the best condition right now. Well, not right now. It's just not in the best condition, but it's still a pretty valuable card, I would say.
The Gale's in the building. He's like the OG J Dunn.
Let's go, the Gale. Let's go.
Yo, let's go.
Gale's an OG, man.
Yo, for real.
Makes great YouTube videos.
Yo, man, a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun chopping it up with the Gale, man, for sure.
I only watched a little bit. I got to finish that one after this live stream. I think I'm gonna finish your interview with the Gale. We were in the same fantasy football league all year long, and man, that was such a blast, bro. That literally was a time in my life. I've done fantasy football leagues like my whole life. Mm-hmm. But that was probably one of the best leagues I've ever been a part of. Everybody in it was just awesome. The memories, like we had a group chat the whole time, so it was a blast. Like talking crap to each other each week. Like, man, it was so much fun.
You know what's funny about that is I don't want to consider myself a professional daily fantasy sports player, but I was a lineup provider. I did have a company a couple of years ago.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, mainly FanDuel, DraftKings. Had sponsorships along the way. All that dissolved now, but I just do my little solo thing. But when I saw you guys was getting that started, I said, these guys don't know. They don't know who I am. I'm a fly on the wall right now. I just comment and I keep it cool. So I'm gonna keep it cool. I don't want to have to join these guys' leagues and just smash them out of nowhere. I'm not a content creator yet. Like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? So let me, throw some content out there first. We get the channel buzzing. I'll see y'all next year, though. I'm gonna see y'all.
Yeah, you might have to come in the league next year, and that's awesome that you said that, bro. I had no idea. So I kind of do the same thing, right? I have a thing called Dunn's Fantasy Lineups. So I'm a fan. I'm a lineup provider as well.
That's crazy, bro. That's why I'm like, yo, me and this dude got.
When did you start? When did you start doing that? If you don't mind me asking.
Man, me and my boys, we were called DFS Brainiacs.
DFS Brainiacs. I'm sure I've probably seen you guys or something. Because you want to hear a crazy story? Well, go ahead, keep finishing.
I was gonna say one of my boys, he used to work with one of the major brands, Roto. We won't say the rest of it.
Yeah.
One of my other people's, like, what it was for me is when I first started playing daily fantasy, I was okay, but not really that good. And I just kept seeing certain people at the top of the boards always. And eventually I was like, who the hell are these people? How do I find these people? One day a light bulb went off. Started looking around in Twitter. I became friends with a guy named Ro. His name was DFS Ro. And basically in his chat, he had like all the top DFS providers. He had a couple of subscribers in there. He just brought me and took me under his wing. And then I noticed a lot of those guys that were at the top of the board, a dude named King of This Ish, Vic Jagger, AK-47. There's a whole bunch of these dudes on FanDuel, you know, DraftKings, that they were all in the same chat, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, I guess I'm in here for a reason. I guess I must be decent, you know what I'm saying? So from there, a couple of us splintered off, and that's how we formed our providing service,
awesome,
man.
Dude, that's awesome. It's crazy because I was doing the same thing, man. I love hearing people talk about FanDuel because I love fantasy football, everything. I do fantasy football, fantasy baseball, and basketball. Those three sports.
Yes.
I think NBA is probably the most consistent for me, just because I think there's less variables and everything.
Right.
I'll tell you how I got started. You ready? So I love talking about this because I'm all about like just making ideas. Like I started Dunn's Fancy Lamps was literally just a crazy idea I had, and it turned into a reality. It's still not to the point at all to where I could support myself from it fully. I don't know if it'll ever get there, but I mean, it was one of my goals.
I have a feeling I've seen it. Like I picture a logo. Like
yes, man. Yo, so I have the craziest story. Ready? Man, I swear, like I've been one of those kids where I thought I was a pioneer my whole life. I've always said crazy things and people just laughed at it, but then they sort of came true. And this is one of those moments. Ready? So how I even began playing FanDuel was I would win fantasy football leagues with my buddies. We would do live drafts together. Well, I get to the point where I won like 3 years in a row, and it took forever for me to get my money. They like would just drag it on. I was like, okay, I see. You guys don't want to keep paying the person who keeps winning. So eventually one of my buddies was like, yo, just play FanDuel. Like if you win, you have to get paid. I'm like, okay, let me check this out. And I literally won the first time. I put in $5, 100-person tournament, and I won 125 bucks. I was like, okay. I think I'm onto something here. So I kept practicing, right? I kept practicing, I kept playing. And I did pretty well. I was playing college baseball at the time. And so college broke athlete. I was winning a little bit of money. I was showing my buddies like, yo, check this out. And eventually they were like, yo, screw you, Dunn. And so I was like, no, let me help you. Just play what I'm playing. I'm telling you. And so it worked. The first time I did that, I told like 10 of my teammates, yo, play this lineup tonight. And it worked. They all won money. And so they all gave me some money. I was like, okay,
there you go.
If I can do this for 10 people, I can do this for the world. I just need to get out there. I just need a website somehow. So I was just graduating college. My best friend, Joe Kelly, he and I got him into VV too. And he was like one of the only people who trusted me. He's got a Nightwing, like he's got a Todd. Oh man. So he made a website for me. And I was like, bro, I told him I was desperate for someone to make a website. I was like, just partner with me 50-50. I'll split everything with you 50-50. Just make the website for me. And so he thought about it. He's like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, this may not work at all. And we may just have wasted some time, but if it works, it worked. And he was open-minded enough to say, let's try it. I was like, yes. So we tried it. We opened it, dunsfancylamps.com. And literally in an hour, somehow I got a customer. It was like I was selling like $3 lineups just to see if it would work. And I had a customer from Virginia buy a lineup. And when they bought the first lineup for $3, I was on a high like crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was like, it worked. $3, not the amount, but like it worked.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh. So then I started like grinding away. And this is how it kind of like had a little bit of a boom. I ended up having clients from every single state at one point in Canada. So I was advertising. This is 2015 on FanDuel, 2014.
That's when I was playing heavy.
Let's go. I was advertising back then. You could edit the name of a FanDuel contest. Right now, if you go on FanDuel, the contest is called like ID0 whatever. You could edit the name of the contest.
Make
like
it your own.
You can make it called like Jose Collectables or Dokta Strange Collectibles, whatever.
How funny.
I was calling it dunsfancylamps.com. So I was spamming it. That's where I messed up. But I was spamming it like 50 times a day. So if you go on to FanDuel from California, Texas, Jersey, and you want to play a free contest, 10 people, 100 or whatever, you would see Dunn's Fancy Lineups. And so random people are just joining these contests and seeing the contest is called dunsfancylamps.com. Mad people were Googling it, obviously, finding it. And like those people were playing FanDuel, obviously. So most people who were playing it want help. They'd see Dunn's. So I got mad clients. And so I was like, oh my God, it's working. A few days later, I get an email from FanDuel. We're going to subpoena you to court if you keep advertising on our website or our app. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that. Like, I didn't know. Like, I'm just a kid, man. Like, I was just, so I said sorry and everything. Nothing happened. But then a couple days later, I go on FanDuel. I see Joe Schmo's lineups. I see all this. I'm like, what's going on? They just told me I can't do that. But now everybody else is doing that.
Yeah.
The next week later, they said, no more editing names. You can they deleted that possibility.
Yeah,
You
couldn't
can't
even
edit
do it.
the names anymore.
I
I was
remember
like, oh my God. I think I literally, I don't know if I was, it was because of me.
broke the app, bro. Thank you.
Right. So
let's go. I love it.
I kind of thinking back, I was like, I should have been more strategic and did like a couple a day, but I was just like, boom, a 50. And it's crazy because I kind of did the same thing with Veve in the early days. It didn't matter. I was spamming it. Like, I'm glad I didn't do like a one a day, but I was spamming Gary V's Instagram. Check out Veve. They have the IP. They have the, they're licensed with the biggest IP brands in the world. I was spamming Gary V's Instagram, YouTube, anybody who's in the NBA Top Shot at the time, anybody who's in the crypto. I was just spamming Veve like crazy back in March. And then to see, like, I didn't know it was working. I just saw the growth. And then I kept hearing things like, shout out to Cavell, man. Like, Cavell said he found it from the comments on Gary V's Instagram. And I was just like, this is not happening right now. Like, it's like, I didn't know it was actually doing anything, but people were actually seeing it. And so it's just wild, man. Like, that's how the FanDuel thing happened. Like, it's crazy.
Familiar with DFS Karma?
Yes. Yeah, DFS Karma. So are they like an orange logo?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard of them. I've heard of them.
So
didn't they go through like some kind of drama thing? Something happened with them.
That's what I was about to tell you. Like, at that point when they were blowing up to it, let's say you went into a double up, all you saw was people playing their lineups and all. When they were at their height, they were trying to recruit me and my boys. You know what I'm saying? Because they started getting into podcasts, and I don't want to put them on blast, but they had their motives. Let's just say they were trying to corral different demographics, as they told us.
Right.
We're just not willing to sell out for anybody, you know what I mean? But so that further let us know we're on the right path.
Right, exactly.
Keep doing what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
Yeah, man. Got a little skills.
Yeah, I bet you're good, bro. I mean, you're there for a reason, bro. Like, you're gonna be good. And it translates, it does translate, into season long.
It does, man. I actually started with season long, and then it just, I don't know, it kind of bored me because I wasn't getting paid. It's like you said.
You can wait to the end.
You're coddling all of this situation, and you're like nurturing it, and you're cutting players and trying to see who you could, draft and all that, like not draft, but pull off the free agent list and all this stuff. You're like, for what? And there's people every day getting paid, like basketball's every day. Hold on, bro. Between that, baseball, like so much, so many ways to get paid, man. I got nice with NASCAR even. I'm nice with golf, Yeah, so I know a lot of golfers for no reason. You're like, why is this black guy golfer for no reason? Like,
that's great.
That's awesome, man.
Drivers for no reason. Like, it's what you got to do, bro.
Gale's into fantasy too, big time.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not a pro or anything, but I love playing DFS and season long, both of them. Been doing it for years, man.